the afternoon. That morning one didn't quite work out, so hoping this one works out a bit better. Put my headphones on, get this going a little bit better. Just hang on, hang tight, hang tight, hang tight. All right, that should be better audio-wise. So decided to do another live stream here in the afternoon because that one in the morning didn't quite work out. So figured I would do this one again, the commercial property one. I did this last week, but the audio didn't work through it. So hoping the audio works on this one because it's a good hour and a half or so that I can stream when I'm here. So let's get into it. Turn the camera around. There. And try to figure this out. Ooh. Make sure I've got my keys with me. Put the charger in my pocket. Do I have the other key? I do, but I can't put that in my pocket because it appears to be a hole. All right. Let me just kind of sort this out. Make some noise. Gonna be using the navigator on this one. This is my commercial property. This property is very rough. Lots of molehills and rocks and stuff like that. This is also the only property I do where I do the mowing first and then do the trimming after. This is one of the reasons I like the navigator, is that I can fit it in my trailer with that folding up deck. Alright, just going to take care of some things here first before we get started. I'm going to take the dump bins out of the navigator because this property has basically a compost pile, so I can just back up to it and dump the whole hopper on the ground. Don't need the bins. Those bins are for dumping into like garbage cans and stuff. That's step one. Close that. Step two. Just going to take my straps out, throw them in the truck, and we'll get started with the mowing. Ooh. Grab a sip of water. Oh, nice and cold. All right. lock up the truck, ready to go. Make sure I got enough fuel. Oh yeah. We got the fuel. Take my glasses off to start here. Don't quite need those. And away we go. Let me know if you guys have any questions. So I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. Let me know in the comments. I see that David Vale is back. Thanks for joining in again. And yes, this Navigator is a 42-inch. Let me know if you can hear me talking over the noise. This section is called the Gauntlet with these blackberry bushes.
Okay, sorry. I didn't know how much. Let me know my volume for talking. If you can hear me clearly now. I was yelling just because the mower is so loud that even with the headphones on, that blower system on the Navigator. So I wasn't sure if I was having to talk louder for the headphones to pick it up. I mow first on this one because it's a really rough property. So I don't want to spend a lot of time trimming. Normally on residentials, I am trimming, more detail. On this one, being a commercial property, I just do the mowing first, and then the trimming I hit afterwards, just sort of like the worst areas, because I give myself about an hour and a half allocated to do this property each week. But there's too much to do, and I do more than what they expect. But it's just one of those things like those blackberry bushes, for instance. I trim those from time to time when they start to get out of hand. I should have actually brought my Milwaukee pruners, because I would just, as I'm going by here, be snipping them to keep them under control. Those blackberries they start to take over, and the property owner necessarily doesn't care because it doesn't affect them. It affects me when I'm mowing, tears into my arms and stuff. It's like razor blades, so I'm always trimming those. But this is a really rough property. The moss and thatch, you can see it ruts very easily. It doesn't seem to bother them. It's full of molehills and rocks and stuff. This one tears up my blades. No need to yell. Yeah, sorry. Hard to tell. The Navigator is just so overwhelmingly noisy. It's so loud, this unit, that because of the blower system, so it's hard to hear myself even think. So that's why I'm kind of trying to talk loud, because I don't know how much of the headphones is blocking out the mower, although you guys seem to be saying that's blocking it out pretty good. So yeah, just keep letting me know in the comments if I'm talking too loud or if I'm not talking loud enough. If you guys have questions. I did this property last week for my live stream, but it apparently was on mute the whole time. Yeah, so this one's kind of like a real dirty mow, just because it's a commercial property. This property here, I guess, was a family farm originally, and it's three brothers that turned it into a place that sells hay. So they bring in hay bales to supply to like local farmers and stuff like that. So their original farmhouse is right there where they grew up, but they don't live there anymore. They have that rented out to a tenant, and then they use the rest of the property for their hay sale. Very rough property, as you can see. The grass is it's just grass, lots of weeds, lots of thatch, but lots of moss, lots of bare spots. I'm mowing at 2.5 inches. I mow it every week. You can see they park tractor trailers, like that one there. Sometimes will be like on the lawn. So some weeks I can't mow sections if there's vehicles in the way. It's very bumpy. The biggest challenge on this property is leaf season. Lots of big mature trees that dump a ton of leaves, and I'm the one that cleans it all up. I can't remember for sure, but I think it's an acre of lawns broken up into different sections. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different sections that I mow. That first little boulevard that I started with. There is that front little side strip that we just mowed. This back half, all the way across, is the biggest section that we'll be mowing. And then there's 2 front yards in front of the house that we'll be mowing. Usually here about an hour and a half each week. So I mow it, and then I go trim. I think the most I've ever taken from here in terms of leaves from all these trees in one go, like in one sitting, was like after a windstorm one time where a bunch of the leaves had fallen, and I filled this navigator hopper, I think it was like 14 times, and then went to go dump in their compost pile after each time. So it's quite a bit of leaves. This whole lawn back here was just completely covered. I'll check comments in a second. You see the sun's at my back, so it's kind of shining on the screen. Hard to see. Turn around here. Andrew, Bartman, no need to yell. David Vale. Sound cancellation on those headphones is amazing. How many residential and commercial properties do you have? That's good to know that the sound cancellation works so well. That is what they're marketed for. These are the IsoTunes Link 2.0 with the optional boom microphone. So the microphone is just right in front of my face. Hit a big chunk of wood, looks like. Not unusual for this property. There could be a lot of debris. Residentials and things, I try to keep under 40 in total. Residential, commercial properties. I mean, commercial properties. I don't do very many commercial properties. It's mostly residential. I have this one. Do I have any other ones right now? Trying to think. I think this is it right now for commercial properties this year. It's just this one. I don't like commercial properties. experience with commercial properties is it's always about the price. It's always about, who's the cheapest. It's always about going out to bid every year. There's no loyalty. This one, maybe because it's three brothers and it's family business and, they've been around for a long time sort of stuff, it's a little bit different. So I've been mowing it for like 6 years. I've never asked to rebid or anything. It's just come back in the spring and start mowing it again. I have raised the price throughout the years as needed. I bill them extra for all the leaves. I bill to their credit card directly each month. So I'm not waiting like net 30 or 60 or 90 like some commercial properties would make you wait. And that's why I continue to do this one. Watch those tree roots that are kind of sticking out there. This building right here is their offices where they run their business out of. Like I say, that's the original farmhouse that the three brothers grew up in. Kind of neat that it's kind of like historical. Been here for a long time, working farm. But it's now transformed into something completely different. As you can see, they don't grow any hay here. They just bring it in from other places. They got all sorts of hay, different varieties. I think a lot of it comes from Washington State. So they drive their semi-trucks over there and pick up a lot of hay and bring it here to distribute it and sell here. They also sell all natural like pet supplies in the store in the back buildings of that barn way at the back. So when I'm here, I'll usually when I'm finished mowing every few weeks, I'll head into the store, get some like natural dog treats and stuff for my dog. They sell things like dehydrated like pig ears and like lamb hooves and things like that, like all natural, deer antlers, stuff like that. Good for dogs to chew on, keep healthy and clean. But predominantly their business is selling hay. Which is funny, this time of year, it starts to get busy here, and just like homeowners as well, because of obviously fall, and like Halloween, and Thanksgiving. We have Thanksgiving here in Canada in October, so people will buy hay bales to decorate. Check the comments. So say thank you to David Bill for showing up again, and to Andrew Berman. Appreciate you guys joining into the stream. Hopefully, looks like the cellular connection is a lot better over here than where it was this morning, which is unfortunate because there's a lot of the nicer houses in that other neighborhood that I did. But I guess I could always just film those and do them as just standard YouTube videos to kind of show those properties. Now this section that I'm mowing right now, I believe believe there's a little concrete cover there. I think there's a septic tank underneath here, and I think it's a really old septic tank. So I'm always kind of worried about it, like rusting, and like me falling through it with the mower. Because, and I only say that because the lawn here, in this half of the lawn, even when the rest of the lawn is like brown and yellow, it is always super green here over the septic tank. So I think that means the septic tank is leaking. So I've just heard horror stories of people like discovering septic tanks that they didn't know existed on properties because over the years they rust and then the top collapses or caves in. You find yourself inside of it. That would be pretty horrible, especially if it hadn't been pumped out. Lots of moles, mole hills here. You can see all the dirt piles. There's one coming up right there. I just try to like use the side of the deck to kind of push it sideways as best I can. Spread the soil and rocks below the deck. Today it's not too bad here in the backside. You always make that cringe face when you hear all the stones and pebbles destroying the blades. Nice chunk of stick. The employees here also bring their dogs to work, so there's occasionally some dog poop here on the lawns, but they're pretty good at picking it up. It's not usually an issue. Alright, so that's the back lawn. So now, I head to the front of the house. This weird little square here, I don't know what this is. It looks like a foundation of some sort of maybe outbuilding or something that used to be here. Really lumpy. Oh yeah, lots of molehills back here, or in front here. So yeah, these blackberry bushes are always an issue each week. Normally I carry the Milwaukee powered handheld pruners, those 8-inch pruners. Just snip them, let them drop, and just kind of push them back there. It's been probably about, I think the last time I did it was 3 weeks ago. So they're starting to creep up again. This berm back here that goes up, I used to mow right up this berm with the Navigator because of the articulating deck. But there was a bunch of blackberry bushes up around the corner here, and I came and they had, I guess, cleared it with some machine, but they left all the debris here, so I don't want to go too far up because my side tires are just air. The front ones are solid, so they're not going to go flat, but the big tires on the sides are just air-filled tires. I want to get it flat with all the blackberry thorns. up and down this berm here. Then going to start heading around. All the molehills. The other thing that I get on this property all the time is tire tracks. Because it rains so much, the ground is always wet, so you'll see like right here where some big vehicle has driven and it's pushed the lawn over in like a berm here on the side. So I used to be able to mow right up to that edge, but now I can't because it's literally been destroyed. Look at that, so crazy. So I go around it, and then we'll have to come back and trim that. Must have been a pretty heavy truck. Maybe a dual axle rear tires or something on a wet day. Check some of these comments, just 1 second. The shade here. I've never seen an X-Mark with handles like that. I've only seen that on walker mowers. Feed was buffering. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's hard to find where the cellular connection is good. Like this morning was just really giving me issues. The X-Mark Navigator. This is essentially an exact copy of a walker mower. Walker's patents had run out, and X-Mark basically copied their design, made some improvements on their overall design. I've owned both. I've had the walker back in 2007. I bought a brand new walker and had it for a bunch of years. The Navigator is definitely, in my opinion, better. I've done lots of videos on the differences. But mainly, it doesn't clog like my walker would always clog in wet grass, tough conditions, if it was leaves and stuff, and it was wet. I have yet to ever clog this machine. I have done some nasty cleanups with it. Some that are on YouTube you'll see. There's one in particular that I filmed actually on this property doing the leaf cleanup, where it was raining, pouring rain. And I purposely, with the walker mowers, there's a screen at the top of the hopper, and it has these holes in it, and it's to allow airflow through, but to prevent, obviously, the grass clippings from flying out. And it comes with a screen with certain size holes. There's an optional screen with larger holes for tough conditions. So I had that version with the larger holes for the walker, and it would still get stuck and clog. On this Navigator, what they do, they don't have different versions. They have one version, and actually the holes on this version are even smaller than the smallest hole screen on the walker, but they have a section of that screen that is removable so that you can have a wide open section to allow airflow when you're in those really tough conditions like wet grass and stuff that would clog up that screen. So I came to this property with the leaves in the rain, and my whole intention for that video was to purposely clog this machine so that I could show that if you remove that section of screen, then you can continue on and you'll be able to mow without clogging. And if you watch that video, you'll see that I'm actually laughing because I cannot clog the machine even without taking the screen off. So I'm just like laughing because I'm purposely trying to clog the machine, and it's pouring rain. You can see just the amount of rain happening, the amount of leaves that are on the thing, and it just would not clog. So that's what I like most about this machine, because in those conditions. The other thing too, and this isn't a complete issue, was with the walker when I had it, I would get stuck a lot. The machines are heavy, but the model I had walker, it was a 42 inch as well, but it came with skinnier tires, those drive tires. So there's a lot of weight on those tires. And these machines don't have a lot of ground clearance under the tractor portion where the engine and stuff is, because of that blower system, and everything kind of sits lower. It's not like a normal zero turn. So if those traction wheels in like wet conditions start to sink and rut, you only have like an inch or two of clearance, and then you're basically sitting on the motor and then it's stuck. It's not going anywhere. Well, this model came standard with much bigger tires, so I have not gotten stuck with it. It floats the weight a lot better. So we're going to do the fifth section now of the lawn. Still doing pretty good. The hopper is not filled. I love this style of mower because the deck, of course, is out front. You got your feet resting on the deck, so you can see what you're doing. You can get under tighter areas. You can control the mower just with your fingertips. So you can do a turn here. I'm controlling both sides of zero turn instead of two hands. It's just one hand. On my other side here, there's a speed control lever right there that I can pull there, go forward. So in that, you can set your speed, and then you're just using the steering control. So this hand can be free. I can use it to fill myself sometimes. Let me check comments again, if I can see. Hold on. What are those ruts in the lawn? I'm going to have to look up that video. The ruts in which section? There's tons of ruts in this lawn. This lawn is terrible. They're not only will the mower rut sometimes, but it's really, really bad. Or if I have the turf tracer, but they're constantly driving vehicles on the lawn too. So those huge ruts, that massive one that I was showing there was from like a dually truck or something. I think it was from that box truck over there, because that's the tenant. That black car that's parked beside the house. And that white box truck there is owned by the tenant who lives in the house. So he would be the only one using this driveway in the front. So I'm assuming it's that dually that rutted that front lawn there and caused that huge rut. But around the front, very first section that I mowed, the semi-trucks that come in and out are constantly, when they're pulling out their tractor trailers onto traffic, they're constantly cutting the corner, and there'll be like ruts and stuff, and it's a huge pain for me to deal with each week. Because once the rut happens, nobody is fixing it. They are just going about their day, so then I'm stuck perpetually doing the extra trimming around those ruts and stuff. Yeah, there's some pretty massive ruts over there. you look at last week's live stream on live stream would have been, was this is number 15 or something? So 14, 13, 12. It was probably like live stream 12 or something. It would have been the same property. You'll notice that the section behind the office, there was a pickup truck parked on the lot. There's always something. Like I say, they don't really care too much about the condition of the lawn. They're parking vehicles and whatever on it at times. So if they don't worry about it, I don't worry about it. I just mow around whatever obstacles there are. That's it. Looks like tire ruts. On which lawn? The one I'm doing now, the one I just did. Yeah, I can definitely hold a lot of grass. 9.5 bushels is what the capacity is. I'm talking about like ruts like this, like tire marks and stuff. This machine will definitely rut, especially here in the Pacific Northwest. But what it doesn't do is rut enough where it is getting stuck, like the Walker did. Walker's tires were a lot skinnier, so it would just start to sink. Now this machine, like the Walker, has an audible alarm, so it'll start beeping at me when the hopper is getting full. And the longer you, like, when you first start using it, it'll be like a slow beat. And then if you keep pushing it without stopping, and it starts to fill up more, it'll start to beat faster and faster intervals. And I warn you that you are going to clog things up if you don't stop. This machine, I'll have to do a live stream as well, back on this property when the leaves really start to fully fall. It is mesmerizing. It's like those oddly satisfying videos to see like completely covered in leaves, and then this thing just vacuums everything up. And then you like pull backwards, and it's like a completely clean stripe where it's sucked up all the leaves. Doing pretty good. I don't know if it's going to fill today. We're almost done. I have not heard any alarms yet. They're not hard to miss. They're very loud. And the alarm little speaker, siren, whatever you want to call it, right behind your left side on the hopper, so it's right back behind your head. Of course, the other advantage with this type of mower is not only the hopper being able to bag stuff so cleanly, but also that articulating deck. full floating deck. So also the fact that it'll lift up in the fields, you don't need a jack or anything. If it does clog, or you've got like grass buildup, you can just flip that deck up and clean stuff off, change your blades, easy. I can fit it in my trailer and transport it with the deck up, fit it in my little trailer. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to transport it. Wouldn't fit as it sticks out fast. Grab this piece of cardboard so I can. And the front lawn and the one you're on now. Yeah, those the ruts. That's from the mower. Then that's just from the ground being wet and soft. And I don't change up lawn patterns and stuff on this one because it's just the way it is on this lawn. Nobody seems to care if they're driving trucks and stuff on it. At times, I'm not going to worry about changing directions and stuff. So typically, if I'm starting over there and then doing my stripes, I'm always in the same spot. So those are just ruts over time. But you can see here, just get a lot of garbage and stuff. Now, there's the alarm there on the side. I'll throw the cardboard there for now. Yeah, that's a navigator. You see it looks exactly like a walker. Some differences, though. A lot more heavy duty built. So if you have properties like this, which I tend to have, where it's mostly rough properties that I'm using it on, I don't do like fancy estates or anything like that. So the heavier build is better for me. What else is different on this? The motor is in a different orientation. So you can see the muffler is sticking out the back because the motor is sideways compared to a walker. The motor is the other way, and you have the exhaust out the side. The walkers tend to overheat over time and can prematurely wear out the motor because of that. So this being sideways, it's actually, you see a different orientation. So the walker's motor would be that way with the muffler on the side. There, so you've got the fan in the front here. You've got the hydros right here too. So it's actually drawing air from this empty cavity out here over the hydros, which is cooling the hydros as well, and then blowing the air out the back past the exhaust. So that's one big design change versus the walker. The gas tank, fuel tank on the side here, there's a bolt here, and you'll notice on the back there's hinges. So this gas tank actually swings out of the way for service to the engine, so you can get this whole side, do oil changes, things like that. You can get the power lift and stuff for these as well. I don't have that. What else is different? The deck is much deeper on this Navigator, so I think, and then it's got the huge blower, but the bigger deck, I believe, creates way more suction. It's also a completely open deck, like a traditional zero-turn mower, where on the walker, if you're familiar with them, the front half is open, but then the back half has these kind of like covers or baffles. So I think that kind of stunts the airflow in them. This one, again, those tires are really wide. This one as well, the battery is on the side there, exposed, which is nice, easier to jump start it and stuff. On the walker, the battery I think was under the seat, if I remember correctly. Can't remember what else. Oil filter is easily accessible for the hydros. Oh, and then that whole screen system inside. I can show you that when I go dump. What time is it there? 4:08. You're telling me to get back to work. What time is it there? You're wasting too much time talking. Get back to work. So I'm just gonna mow that slope a little bit, best I can, to minimize trimming. Sideways action. Another nice thing is mower, because the depth is so much and it articulates. I can go up to the slopes here and mow in sections. Ones that aren't too bad, and minimize some of the trimming there. I'm not obviously going to go along there because that's way too steep for it, and I always have to be cognizant that even though the deck articulates, there's still that sort of oil pressure and that to worry about. You don't want to be on too much of an incline with the engine. Yeah, so like this right here is brutal. Look at the size of this thing. It's like a foot deep from a truck driving on the gravel and going too far, and it pushed all the soil over. So I can't even mow that anymore. I gotta go get the trimmer and trim it. I think I got all of this section, all 500 molehills. 610 here. Where are you from? Whereabouts are you, David? The 42-inch deck on this, you can see here, lets me traverse areas. I can get into really tight spots. There, like that. See right there, I was able to squeeze through that little spot right there. That's always nice. I do trim that bank. I don't do it every week though. I do it every second week or so. Like I said, limit myself to an hour and a half max when I'm here. So I will trim mainly the front entrance area, this spot here, because they're coming in here every morning opening this gate. So this is what they're seeing. This back area around the trees. The first little section that I mowed along that fence where that cow pasture was. Trim that. Most importantly, like I said, the front entrance, because that's like, any retail customers and stuff for them are coming in through that big long driveway here. So I make sure that that's all trimmed. That other one around the other side, I just do it every couple weeks. So it looks like there's still a garbage can here. So last couple weeks, there's been this blue, like, garbage bin in the back here, right in front of the compost pile. So it's been kind of a pain that it's sitting here. Also, they just built all these brand new houses, and these are like fancy looking houses right back here. This used to be like nothing back here. So I'm just dumping to the side here now.
So throw the cardboard back here too. There's last week's grass. San Antonio, Texas. So that's what we got today from this property. Packed in there pretty good. I'd like to get the power dump for this. You can see the spot for it right here for the controls. That would be nice. Go forward a little bit. San Antonio, Texas. So what I do here now is I'll pull forward a little bit and then I just kind of go backwards and kind of like shake the controls. And it kind of like shakes the whole machine. So there's that screen I was talking about right there. And that front section there, it's about 2 inches long, is the section that you can slide this screen out through here. It all slides out like a drawer. And then you undo the little wing nuts in that front section, which is in this section here. And then you'd have, if that was all clogged in heavy conditions, then you'd have an opening here to allow that air to flow out up here in the doors, and then it comes out of this exhaust here to allow that airflow so that it's constantly bagging. The other main difference between this and the walker is it's got a big long chute there. So the walker actually has a smaller chute there that actually oscillates side to side to fill up the hopper evenly. This one, the sensor oscillates side to side to check how full. So this is the sensor that when this is, when grass is like full here and pushes up on this is what causes the alarm to go off. But with this one, you just got, if you're using without the bins, then you would just have this wide open. It would fill up evenly. With that bin kit that I have, it comes with this divider here that you can put up on the screen, and then it kind of puts half the grass on one side, half the grass on the other. You don't need that for this configuration, but I don't take it off if I'm not using the bins. I just leave it because it would make no sense to just take that off. The other difference is the navigator comes standard with the one tail wheel, the one big tail wheel, instead of the dual tail wheels that the walkers come with. What else is different on this? The way the springs are different. I like that the springs are on the sides here, not on the walker. They're in front of your, behind you. So when you're at your legs, they're behind your legs, which is not something that I like too much. Yeah, other than that, it's pretty much the same as a walker. You can see where they just kind of basically took a really good idea and I know that alarm, the one time it doesn't go off. Not full enough. You saw how it was probably what, 3/4 full? So you can imagine when, and I think it's on my Instagram from a few years ago, where I started dumping leaves right there, and then I had like 14 piles. So the video starts with the navigator here, and you see me filming, and then I like pan
Backwards, showing pile after pile after pile after pile of leaves from that one leaf cleanup day. It was pretty crazy. All right, head back, load this up to the truck. You see, this is the retail store here. This little opening right here, storefront. And then you can see the barn is full of all the different types of hay. Timothy hay, alfalfa hay, straw, all sorts of stuff. That's why there's hay all over the ground too, everywhere. All right, now I gotta back this up, the trailer. All right. Oh, I forgot to put my my bins back in the back, but that's okay. I'll put them in when I get home. And go get my straps. Seems like it would rut or be heavy when wet. Oh, it's heavy when it's dry too, but it doesn't. It has not sunk, which is the main thing for me. It's one of the main reasons I sold the walker. Was just kept getting stuck with it. And in a lot of cases, you're in like, residential neighborhoods and stuff. There's no, hey, let me like bring the truck around the back or something. It's like small gated things, so it was always an ordeal to get unstuck. Ironically, too, this machine is heavier than a walker, or heavier than the walker that I had at the time. And it has not gotten stuck or sunk, which is great. All right, have the pins loose. Fold the deck up because it's the only way I can fit this machine in the trailer. In my little itsy bitsy trailer that's not really meant for carrying machines back here. This was meant for grass and debris. Originally, this trailer only had like barn doors on the back. I bought steel, designed and built the convertible ramp doors on this trailer so that it would be much more functional. There we go there. Yeah, so these ramp doors are my design. I had originally it just had like solid barn doors that were just solid metal, like the sides here that opened up sideways, and then I tried originally using like portable ramps that you would buy, but then I was always paranoid about them getting stolen. So then decided to cut the doors off and build these doors. You'll notice they are taller in the back than the sides, of course, there, because that was the length of the ramps, the temporary ramps that I had bought, and those ramps would clear, the deck would clear going up into the trailer, so I just made these doors the same. You can see the old welds here from the old doors that I'd cut off, and then I made these convertible, so it's 2 doors, and I put hinge pins on the top, on the bottom, removable
hinges or hinge pins here, and you'll see there's 4 on the bottom too. So what that allows me to do is I can take the hinge pins off the bottom there and put them on the sides, and then the doors will fold open instead of like a ramp. And then if I want to make it as a ramp, then I just put all the hinge pins on the bottom, so now it opens like a ramp. Just makes it way more versatile. So now the trimming. This is the crest, and it's going to need, it's the end of the day, last lawn of the day, so it's going to need a battery. So we're down to one bar on that, and I don't want to run out on this property and have to walk all the way back to the truck. So let us grab a spare. This one should be full. There we go. Full juice. What was that? Do you guys ever see that meme or that thing? I think it was last year or the year before. That corn kid, I think they called it, singing a song about corn. And one of the lines of his song was, like corn, it's a beautiful thing or something, and it's got the juice. Well, my battery, it's got the juice. It's got the juice. So I trim around all these areas, the trees and stuff that are the most like visible. I do this stuff every week. This one's not too bad. And then of course the front entrance. And then whatever I have time for, I will alternate, like that hill every few weeks, or sometimes I'll do the perimeters around those blackberries in other weeks. Sometimes it's this thing, whatever this thing is. Looks like some sort of a concrete foundation at some point. And the badminton racket in there. And branch debris, and this big like oak tree or whatever this is beside me. It's kind of scary. It has dropped some branches. So I'm always worried about that, especially on like slightly windy days and stuff like that. Those are some big branches. Definitely some widow makers on there that you don't want to be caught around. And again, it's one of those things, right?
It's a commercial property. It's not really the, it's not their priority, looking at the trees and stuff like that. So, I just worry that something will get missed come this time of year, October, November. It's always windy. So it's getting stormy all the time. The end of the season. Like there's times where I've been mowing this lawn and I am like literally praying to Jesus as I'm mowing it going, not today, Jesus. I ain't ready. Keep me safe. So yeah, this is why I try to bring those Milwaukee pruners with me. See how it's getting all tangled up. And I have to give it a little things are like razor blades. They're so sharp. I've ruined so many shirts sitting on the mower, and one of these vines will grab hold and like tear the shirt. Then you jump in the shower at the end of the day and it's like, yikes. Get some soap or something in there. See, that truck just cut the corner a little bit. Sounded like it bounced off the curb. You can see it from the dirt pattern there. How many times cars and trucks are always going over the lawn here. This was all grass before. All these big ruts over here. Alright, I'm going to go to this side now. So when I first start mowing this section, it turns into a bit of an embankment here, so I got to basically stop mowing at about this section here, start pulling back onto the concrete. Otherwise the mower's going to get stuck sideways here. So then I just come back and trim all this stuff manually. Now in previous years, even though, check if there's any comments. Seems like you're
You can't see the sun. Get to the shade. Seems like it would be heavy when it seems like it's very easy to do maintenance on the mower. Yeah, very easy. Oh, that's the other thing. It also has only like 10 grease points or something, where the walker has like 40. Can't imagine how cold it gets there. You know what? It's not too bad because I'm on the west coast, which is why it's pretty crazy here for population-wise, because our winters are very mild here on the west coast. So we don't get too much snow. The east coast of Canada is like, actually, not even the east coast of Canada, the next province over, Alberta, and then going east all the way is very cold and lots of snow and crazy snow. And us here on the west coast, it's just wet, just mainly rain. We'll get snow, once or twice a year, usually January, February, sometimes a little bit earlier, sometimes in, December and stuff, but most of the times it's just wet snow that doesn't even require any like plowing or anything. There have been some events that have been longer. Last year we had the temperatures dip, where we had like freezing ice and stuff on top of the snow. That was interesting. But for the most part, yes, it's cold, but not like Alaska cold or something like that, right? Where it's like a deep freeze and stuff like that. It's usually just mild enough that, for example, my kids all play soccer, university soccer and stuff like that, and the soccer season here starts now and goes through the winter, through till the spring, because it's mild. It's I think the only spot in Canada where they do that, where it follows. In other parts of Canada, it kind of follows your traditional like spring through summer season, where here it's fall through winter and spring, and they're outdoors. So it's cold, but it's not cold enough for them to deter them from playing soccer outside. So that's just because we don't get the amount of snow. There is snow from time to time, and they'll plow the soccer fields, like the turf ones. To clear them when they know the snow is like stopping. So they'll clear them so that the teams can get back to practicing and stuff like that. But it's not crazy. Kind of the appeal of the West Coast for Canada is that just the mild temperatures. Texas, the only time I've been to Texas was last year. And I didn't really see much other than the Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. It was the only thing I saw on my way to Equip Expo. But that was a cool airport. Never seen an airport that the runway goes over the highway or the street or whatever, and all the traffic, normal traffic, is like driving underneath the runway. It's kind of weird. If you ask me, that's kind of weird. It would seem like a security breach, security issue. I'm sure there must be safety protocols in place for that. It just kind of seems weird to let normal traffic be driving underneath the runway where planes are. But it was super cool otherwise. I had a few hours to kill. I took that little train thing that goes around the airport. That was kind of fun. Had me some Chick-fil-A.
for dinner on the way there and on the way back. I stopped at Dallas Fort Worth again for a couple hours. But that is the extent of my Texas experience. Kind of looking at it from above, airplane window. This year, if I go to Equip, I haven't quite decided yet. Kind of on the fence still. But I was looking at flights and kind of seems like the best flights because there's no direct flights. It's too far. There's all layover, and Kentucky isn't like a popular destination for here. Here, all the way over here on the West Coast. So there's going to be a stop in between. So it's usually either Chicago or Dallas, or the other one is Boulder, Colorado. So if I go, I might try that one, the Boulder, Colorado, because it seems to be like when I go to Chicago, it's like 5 hours to Chicago and then an hour and a half to Kentucky. When I went to Texas last year, it was, I think, like 4.5 hours from Vancouver to Dallas, and then it was like 2 hours to Kentucky. So it was a little bit shorter on the first flight and a little bit longer on the second flight. Looking at Colorado, it looks like it's right in the middle. So it's like 3.5, 4 hours or something to Colorado, and then another 3 hours or 4 hours to Kentucky. Something like that. It seems a lot closer in terms of having like a break in the middle of the flights. I'm not really a traveler. I'm not afraid of flying or anything like that. I just am so bored having to sit for that long. Although that's not too bad. The worst was that I've done was a 13-hour flight going to Europe. That was mind-numbing. So I can't even imagine something like Australia or something like that. That would be like 20-something hours. Though I guess it's all relative to where you are, where your starting point is, and where you're going. Look at that, I ended up doing the berm today. Check the questions. Cold for me. Shawshank, Dwarf, welcome. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Where are you? It's 4:42 p.m. here on the west coast of Canada, Pacific Standard Time. Where are you that you're saying good morning? Must be European, I would guess. Or maybe Middle Eastern. Something like that. Something over there on the other continent. If you're saying good morning. Unless you just work night shifts and you're waking up right now. Alright, so that does it for this section. I think just trim around the house a little bit, and then I think that about wraps it up for this one for this week. Might be going actually a little bit longer. What are we at here? Hour and 26. No, we're still pretty good. Like I said, I try to keep this property at an hour and a half. So we're getting there. About 7 minutes or so to go. Hour and 26 minutes since I started the stream. So, a lot of debris and stuff. So, the trimming is really just knocking down the high spots. Not really worried about too much of it on this property. Which, to be honest, you know what, is actually kind of nice to have properties like this where, yeah, it's not the greatest, not the prettiest. It's not gonna, you know, be like Instagram worthy. Although I do post ones on Instagram on here all the time. Posted the last one I posted of this property. I was mowing with a navigator, actually this lawn right here, and I had the drone up in the air over here, and was following the mower as I was mowing. Go through my Instagram, you'll see that. But oh, I got to do that the big darn tire rut. So this is what I mean in terms of like, you know, this was like all flat before, and I could just mow it, and now I got to trim it because somebody drove over the line. Created this huge tire rut. Obviously, when it was like in the winter and super wet and soggy like it gets here, that it pushed all the dirt sideways. They did a number. So it looks like, it's hard to say, either the tire went that way or it went that way and pushed the soil, or it went this way and squished the soil. At either rate, I'm stuck trimming it now. As I said, nobody's going to come and fix it. So it's just one of those things. But like I said, because I just build a credit card and all that sort of stuff, I've just been, over the years, anytime there's stuff like that, I just raise the price to compensate for the extra trimming time. And that's it. I just do it. So it's kind of like this property is alive in the sense that it's always changing. It's always different. This is also a property that I don't bother blowing at the end because, as you saw, there's all the hay and grass everywhere. So I use that extra time to do trimming instead of blowing and worrying about blowing. The only time I blow really is when I'm doing those roof cleanups here. Well, I got to do around that gate too. You guys remind me. Don't let me forget. Around the opening gate. Almost done, almost done. Trim high here, above the gravel and the rocks, so they don't inadvertently grab anything. Pulling it.
and then the gate and the berm, and I think that'll be it. That'll be it. This little berm here, side here where I can't get the mower. So yeah, definitely some rutting here too from the mower over time. Although it's hard to tell because they do park those tractors. Sometimes there's like double length ones, and it'll be like, if you look at last week's video, there was one right up on the lawn, all the way up halfway here, and I can have to mow around it. So actually those are probably from tractor trailer. This big one where it's like down to dirt, because the mower wouldn't have done that. Knock this down. The tenant in that house is really nice too. He's always saying hi when he pulls in. He's always offering me a beer as well. I never accept it, just because I'm working and I don't want to be drinking. But I'm not a really big drinker either. So it's not a big deal for me. Now that's a little area to the side there, over there, across the driveway. That is a cow pasture, although they didn't get any cows this year. But every year that I've been here mowing, there has been at least 2 or 3 calves in there. In this section here, feeding off of this grass. There's a little barn area over there. And I think just there's 3 of them, so I would assume it's the brothers. Each have a cow. And, raise them throughout the season, and then I guess they buy them as a calf and then raise them, and then in the fall, winter, it's time for butchering. They will have meat the whole year, but they didn't get any this year. So I've got videos here too of the cows kind of watching me mow. They'd be scared in the beginning of the season each year, and then they kind of get used to me. But apparently, from what they were telling me, is that it's too exposed to the road, and beef prices are so expensive that they worry about the cows getting stolen in the middle of the night, which is kind of crazy to think that we're, at that in our society. People are going to be stealing your cows. So this is the first year they didn't get any cows. So I don't know, maybe if last year the cows were stolen or something. I don't know. I don't talk to them about it, but that's why, or what, just seems kind of odd. And that is it. That's going to wrap it up for this one, I think. Unless I go around the office. That doesn't look too bad, actually. Let me do a little quick trim. There's not much grass here. There's literally nothing here. Air conditioners, I don't like to trim too much around. I don't want to clog them up or anything. Cause problems with them. So I leave a pretty wide berth around those. And then this little section here, I'll trim so with some stairs. I don't think anybody uses the stairs, but I'll trim it anyways. Call it a day.
I'm Indian. 5 a.m. Ah, very cool. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. Live. David Vale says, does that trimmer have a speed feed head? Yes, it does. I switched out, I used the Crest speed feed style head for the first year or so, or maybe 7-8 months or so, to give it a good fair shot. It was very much like the speed feed. It loaded the same. The only thing, it didn't have any issues. It never, gave me any trouble. The only thing that was different that I didn't like is that it had the little bump button at the bottom. So if you look at where the string is coming out on this, it's pretty close to the bottom. You can be like riding the grass and you have, maybe an inch or so. So with the bump, it would push it out to here. So you'd have, maybe 2 inches, 1.5 2 inches. So I'm just so used to being able to get nice and close to the string that I didn't like the versions with the bump. I like this where it's like the whole head is the string bump head. So I swapped it out for the Echo Speed Feed with like one of the kits. Yeah, so I think that's going to be it. Like I said, I'm not bothering blowing on this property. You can see all the hay and everything everywhere. It's not crazy, especially with the Navigator, because the Navigator is sucking, vacuuming all of that grass. If I use the turf tracer, I tend to have to blow because I'm side discharging. So when I do that area along the fence where the cow pasture is, it's facing the driveway. So the grass clippings, of course, get all over the roadway there. So then I have to blow there and along the sidewalks and stuff because it's shooting where, like, along that road section. Then I will tend to have to do more over there. Oh, sorry, I put the key in the truck and forgot about the microphone. Just grabbing a drink of water. Man, I cannot see anything with the sun glare that's happening. Whew, right to my left side. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me on this live stream. Hope you guys enjoyed it and got some value out of it. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me this afternoon. If you were here this morning, I think David was this morning. I apologize again for the stream kind of being really kind of choppy and stuff. Just that neighborhood. I checked the other 2 houses after I ended the stream, and I was hoping to do like the whole morning and seeing how that would go, and then seeing if I could maybe do the full entire day live streaming. That would be kind of fun. But that neighborhood is a no-go, no bueno. So not going to happen in that neighborhood, which is too bad because there's a lot of nicer houses over there. So maybe in the future, maybe they will improve the cellular. So I thought, okay, I'll do this last property of the day here because I know the cellular was good here last week. It was just that if you watch last week's live stream here, it was completely silent because uh, nobody had told me that they couldn't hear anything until the very end. And somebody said, I'm not getting any sound on my end or something like that. So I was like, that's kind of weird. And then the sun glare at this time of day, this time of year, the sun's getting kind of low and stuff. So it was like it's shining on the screen when I'm going. So I couldn't see the controls and see that the mute button was inadvertently turned on last week. So I did that entire like hour and a half stream here in silence. And I'm talking and stuff. So I'll probably have to go back and delete that one now that I've redone this one on this property. And the audio seems to have worked a lot better. So appreciate you guys joining in. If you guys like these live streams, I'd appreciate your feedback on them. Just trying to figure out if this is something that's worth doing or not worth doing. If you guys get value from it, of hanging out and watching me work, answering questions and things like that. If you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell because then that'll let you know when these will happen. The live streams are always going to be impromptu. I can't schedule them in advance and say this is this, whatever. There's just so many variables like today where cellular service wasn't good. But it's weird because I have done that lawn where I did that live stream and ended up canceling the live stream midway through. If you go back through my live streams, I have done a live stream on that property and it worked perfect. So just weird that today nothing in that neighborhood was working. Like I said, they're always going to be impromptu. There's weather concerns. There is, if there's customers home and stuff like that. I try not to, but I'm getting more into not too much worrying about that and just kind of muting if the customer comes out to talk to me and just kind of tilting the phone down. Most of my customers know I do YouTube stuff like equipment reviews and stuff like that, so they're used to seeing cameras on properties and filming myself and stuff, so it's not a big deal. A lot of them ask me if the equipment I'm using, is that something new? Did you get something else or whatever? So it is what it is. Does the trimmer have a CP hit? How much did that cost the Navigator? A Exmark Navigator is, I think, the MSRP on it is... Oh, now you got me. I think it's 17,000. It's changed though because of the pandemic and stuff. So the prices on all that stuff is constantly fluctuating, but I think it's about 17,000 US for the Navigator. I can't remember though. You can go to Exmark's website. They have all their prices on the website. So it'll tell you the price there. That's US dollars. 17,000 US or so is what they normally go for. Yeah, so that's it, guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Time for me to head home for the day. It is 5 o'clock. So perfect timing for me to wrap up and head home and unpack all the equipment and all that sort of stuff. So appreciate you guys tuning in to the podcast. And yeah, I'm not sure what other ones I'm going to do for this week. I think that'll probably be the last one for this week, unless I do one at home over the weekend or something. I'm not sure. We'll see how it goes. Or if I decide to do, there's some trimming jobs I might want to do, tree trimming jobs that I might do a live stream from. But we'll see. At any rate, thanks for joining me, guys. I hope you guys enjoy your night or your morning. If you're in India, like our friend Shawshank Tiwari. And yeah, appreciate it, guys. We'll catch you in the next one.